We are ready now, so I'm going to call to order the City of Coos Bay Parks Commission meeting for January 15th, 2026. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. We will start with roll call with our newest member. Would you like to turn your microphone on and then announce your name?
Yeah, hi. I'm Rex Miller, and I'm on the Planning Commission, and I've been appointed to the Parks Commission. So those who don't know me, I'm a lifelong resident of Coos Bay. This is my 50th year as a licensed landscape contractor and a spray operator. My business is agri-tech, and I hope to offer something to the parks.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, and welcome.
Patrick Bridengard.
Jared Schmidt.
Harv Shavothi.
Carmen Matthews.
Ariane Lyons.
Jamie Faraday.
Greg Hamblett.
Christina Teixeira.
Christine Sylvester.
Thank you so much. Moving on to action item 2A, annual election for chair and vice chairperson.
So it's that time of the year. The Parks Commission rules as defined in the Coos Bay Municipal Code, Chapter 2.30.040, Officer Meeting Rules and Procedures, dictates that we have a chairperson and vice chairperson. The term of the roles are 1 year, and at the beginning of each year, the commission may re-elect the incumbent, or they can nominate a new chair and vice chair. So the vice chair will preside in the chair's role in the chairperson's absence. So if it pleases the commission, staff is requesting by majority vote, the commission nominate and vote a chairperson and vice chairperson. This is a 1-year term. And I'd just like to remind the commission that the chair of the commission is Ariane Lyons and the vice chair is Carmen Matthews, currently.
I'd like to nominate the incumbents. I think they've done an outstanding job. If they're interested in continuing, I would be more than happy to put their names in nomination.
All right, we have a first from Harv. Do we have a second, and then we can have further discussion?
I think Jamie wants to. I would like to second both nominations.
Okay, we have a first and second. We're opening up to further discussion. I think the first question is, Carmen, are you willing to take?
I'm willing, but I'm also willing to give someone else a seat if they would like to participate in that way.
Mm-hmm. I'm also.
Is anybody else interested?
Yeah, willing. But, or you could have a coup later if I really piss you all off. So.
We're taking over.
But I am more than happy to continue to serve as chair as well. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2B, the Marshfield Cemetery update.
So I'm Cricket Souls, and I'm usually designated as the volunteer manager. Volunteer in both senses of the word, that I'm a volunteer, and I'm also managing volunteers when we can get them. So one, you've heard some of the things we've done, and I'll just repeat them briefly, but one thing I'm trying to do is have some activity that involves students every month. So back in November, they put out flags for Veterans Day and did that part of it, and we had a number of people that came by to see it. December was our Himalays, which were the little Scandinavian made out of straws things that were in the cemetery. A few of them are still in the cemetery. For January, we just finished on Monday remembering the Zarina. So the Zarina went down off the spit in January 12th in 1910. And the bad news was everyone could see it from town. So they watched as these men climbed up into the rigging, and then one at a time fell off. And of all the 24 that were on board, only one survived. So, and the only passenger on board was actually the son of the superintendent that had sent the ship out across the bar. So after that, they brought up charges against the life-saving. The port actually did this, brought up charges against the life-saving service, feeling that the captain had acted inappropriately, even though there was probably no way to get a breeches buoy or anything out to them, and the life-saving service they would have lost their men absolutely if they'd tried to launch anything. So he was forced to resign, and the head surfman took over to just kind of keep the lights on in the building, and he's actually buried at the cemetery, as well as his nephew, who died in service working for the life-saving service. So we started that a little bit because we have this kind of unique opportunity now to work with the maritime classes and that are involved in the junior ROTC for at least, we hope, 3 years. The Coast Guard's helping to support this junior ROTC program at the high school, and there is a teacher that deals with it. And the good thing, he doesn't always have quite enough curriculum to fill all the time. So I'm working with him a lot. When we're going to look at how would you get another veterans headstone, because we've gotten like 13. So there is one. It's not even a headstone. It's like a Jenga puzzle. Our contractors think they know how it goes back together, but we'll wait and see. But it's made of sandstone, so the names have deteriorated completely. And in the past, we've always requested marble headstones, whether we can, because that was traditional, and they were Civil War and World War I issues, and that's what was common already in that cemetery. In this case, since there's this big pile of sandstone, we would work on, and it can't really see names, we would request a bronze marker to go with that. So I'm hoping to work when we get the Ancestry enables classrooms to have Ancestry Classroom, which includes their classroom version, Fold3, which works with veterans, and newspapers.com. So it's a free service for schools, and so that's a really good way. But when Marshall did the web remake, we don't know where it went to, so we're still working on that. So that's been our January thing, and it was sort of like drive-through Christmas lights. I don't think we had a lot of people come to see it, but it's a wonderful Facebook post, and we're still going to keep doing that. And the teacher of the classes, and some of the students are just 8th graders, he's hoping to repeat this again next year. And he has a big closet, and we get to store everything in it.
That's great.
So our February event is Chinese New Year, which is on February 4th. So working with the art class, it's the Year of the Horse, and they are doing. I don't know what medium it'll be, but they'll do some drawings, and then we bring up the fact that there were Chinese in the cemetery, and then what happened to them. There was their official bone preparer that came in, and they found the records for the Marshfield Pioneer Cemetery about 10 years ago over in Bend. So it's really exciting to see our records kind of match up with theirs. And we have a new Asian and Pacific Islander class it's a whole classroom full of people. So they're wanting to get involved with that. So that's kind of where we're going. I'm looking for a March idea, so if anyone has good ideas. We have a lot of Irish buried in there, so maybe that's going to be our March idea. And then including a person that came the other night to look at the lights. She had bundled up her 3 little ones, and they came, put them in the stroller, and they came out with her husband, and she's really wanting a workshop. And I've had a lot of people saying, when we want to clean headstones. So I think that's something we might look at, and maybe weather permits sometime in April that we can do that. And we may start with fairly safe headstones, which would mean, and required to do cleaning on, which would be the veterans' headstones. So we would limit it to either the ones we've already requested and other ones that we think are stable. So that might be a possibility for April. And then, of course, in May, we've got all kinds of stuff, more than we really need. But we have Memorial Day, and again, working with the maritime class, I've been working for, my husband just keeps laughing, I've been working for years to get a route to the veterans' burial places that someone can follow. But if you don't know what north or south is, it's really difficult. So we've got the maritime class, and they're learning, and we're actually have a drawn-on map with routes on it now. So, go up here, turn here, go there. And with the construction class or maritime, we'll be making some things that look like we've got from Rex that are like big pots. And I picked up some stands, just some old, not old, it was brand new, some vinyl fencing pickets, and we're going to put those in cement so those can be put in place with that name tag of this is row whatever, with the idea that as we approach the US 250, we're getting more interest in that things, and so we could actually make a route and highlight a few more of the people other than just the people that are in the maritime or the Civil War brochures. I also got a request to speak to the Daughters of the American Revolution in February, and one of their members, first she requested to do the merchant plot, and I said no. Then we requested to do a native, and I said no. So it's helped me to define, if we do have people adopting plots, what kind of restrictions I need to put on it. So we would eliminate anything in the merchant plot, anything that, if they're not a native and not working with the tribe, anything that would be native, and also any really controversial ones that we might have, so I don't have to deal with that. But after multiple tries, this woman who's with the DAR picked one of our veterans who died in service because he was actually married at one time to the regent, which is the position that starts the chapters. So he was married to her, and I have tons of information, and I have given reports for them before. So we're looking forward to that happening. So that's what we've got as far as events coming up. So because we had that thing on the maritime event with the Tsarina, and it was at the fence line, the kids also tossed over some big branches that had fallen in that into that space. But if we got very many people, that could have been a tripping hazard. So Crandall has been wonderful with everything he does. Got us a great sign after looking through, I don't know how many signs that said special event, had an arrow. But since he was out, different people down at the maintenance shop picked up what needed to be done. They came and picked up things. They brought their chainsaw. They like to use chainsaws too. And they trimmed off some of the branches that I didn't even ask about and then hauled all that away. So we eliminated some stuff. So that was great. They also fixed a hole that has been cut in the fence. I can't say as much about the positive way of fixing it because it was fixed with, it wasn't, when we've had holes before, sometimes we've actually had them woven back into regular fencing. This was a pretty lightweight piece of fencing that was just kind of bent around there. I actually wove some other material to it to make it harder. So we'll see how that works or if it needs to be repaired a little more effectively. And a big concern I have is that we are getting traffic, and teachers have noticed traffic in that way and coming in there. And right now we're still looking for 2 headstones that we can't seem to find that are scheduled to be repaired on our next project. We'll be working on a CLG grant upcoming that needs to be finished by the end of April, so we expect the contractors to show up at any point in time to get to work on that. But we're doing what we can do.
Yeah.
So any questions about specific things? And who we can, I still owe Jamie a sign for the...
2 things. Thank you. If you get the information to me, I had an idea of how to get students involved in East Side to make this sign.
Okay.
Yeah. And the second thing, I ran into some people that have lived here for 40, 45 years, and this is the first time they've gotten to the cemetery. They were inspired. They thought it was awesome.
Well, good. And it still looks a mess to a lot of people, but it's also considered, it's supposed to be a rural cemetery. It's not supposed to look like Sunset with everything manicured. And so we need to redo the sign that talks to that so that people are aware that it looks a little rougher around the edges. And we'd like to, next thing is I need to work with Jared because we're we have all these different clubs now, and as we're approaching the 250, Oregon, I think, I don't know what his opinion might be, has done an outstanding job with Terry Chimchuk running the Oregon 250 part of it. And it's natives first. And it's also how Ken Burns chose to put his revolution. So you're not starting at, I don't know, Bunker Hill and things like that you know about. You're starting way back at Pontiac's War and some of those other things that took place when, you know, one time they all got along, and then all of a sudden those English came in and no one got along. So it's really good. So we need to kind of carry that same theme, and often I struggle to get a good connection with the tribes. So that would be the next thing to do to get that going. Maybe their march. And I hope to do a little exhibit for the when the 250 comes at the library. I haven't checked on that, and some of you may have contributions. There's no sense just doing it on the 250. We're not going to do the revolution and things. But I'd like people to realize that we've had lots of different celebrations. We have had the sesquicentennial here. You know, the tribes have had reached points with their restoration, and so they've celebrated different things. So having some little trinkets and things, because people stop and look at trinkets, but having some things that would recognize the bicentennial of Oregon when moon trees were planted, and then the sesquicentennial for Oregon when it had its birthday, and whatever else we can come up with. So if you have anything you can think of when someone celebrated, we have the 150th for Oregon, or for Coos Bay, that, you know, put something in there like that. So if you have any other suggestions of things, I remember, or I don't quite remember, let me know, and we'll see if we can find an artifact. I think that was really successful when I did the other exhibit, that I had artifacts. I didn't have a lot of writing, but I had a lot of artifacts that people could kind of peruse at their leisure.
Very cool.
Okay?
Awesome.
Any other commissioner questions or comments?
Okay.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Action item 2C, Bike Ped Fact Finding Committee Update, BPFFC.
Who wants to take that
There's
one?
an explanation here. If you have any questions, please ask. We met last night, as a matter of fact, in January, and we did not select a date for when we are going to do a work session. But I think when we get closer to when we are going to think about, well, when the grant comes to fruition, we might have more information to then bring to the council or commission to talk about possible routes or facts that we found out about the routes that we're going to be studying. We're just familiarizing ourselves with the TSP and connecting some dots. Next month we're going to try to get out weather permitting and look at some of the areas that connect 101 bike paths with ocean bike paths. So that's where we are right now. Carmen?
Yeah, we're just basically getting together, talking bikes, talking facts. It's pretty fun, actually. Yeah, we're looking forward to. Yeah, we're looking forward to maybe biking around and just identifying bike infrastructure that maybe isn't updated in the TSP currently, and places where there's a lack of bicycle infrastructure, which is pretty much everywhere, but trying to figure out ways to bring as much information to the table when that grant comes together, and, you know, hopefully we'll have some people as part of that group leading that, and just trying to familiarize ourselves as much as possible. So I think things going pretty well.
And we spend a good amount of time talking about the Front Street plan. And if you want to jump in here at all, just to give an update if anybody has any questions about that. But that's a key part of getting future connection with the north-south between Coos Bay and North Bend connected, both pedestrians and bicycles. But that's going to happen. That's the first piece that's going to happen even before we do anything with this TSP and get a master plan for bikes and peds.
I guess we should probably update that it was presented to the council. The revised plan for Front Street, which included a 12-foot multi-use path, which would include bicycles and pedestrians on Front Street. It did require the loss of, I think it was 14 parking spaces in order to accommodate this multi-use path. It was met with kind of a mixed response. There were plenty of people in support, at least down in that space, in that part of the community. Business owners, for the most part, were overwhelmingly in support. At the meeting, we did hear a bit of pushback on the loss of some of those parking spaces. However, Jennifer is working on getting a total parking count outside of just Front Street, because this only included Front Street and the parking lot that's on Front Street, none of the side streets, and just kind of getting an overall inventory and trying to evaluate as best we can, give everybody as much information as we can. I think it's probably going to move forward in general. The city council seems to be fairly in support of moving this forward. That being said, we're also working with the port to identify what is the next step with the rail, and we were at the Parks Commission, or the Port Commission meeting today, and they seem like they're moving forward with a rail banking option, which would basically take the rail, preserve the line, or the access to that line, but would be interested in removing the line from. They haven't identified where it would start and where it would go, but basically south of town, rail trails would be something that they're looking at, but they are also investigating all the way to basically the bridge, North Bend. So once they identify where they want to cut it off, or if they want to cut it off, or just to do the whole stretch, and how long that would take, that's where we're kind of heading. But there's some potential movement to gain back some of those parking spaces with the removal of the rail line there, and I mean that opens up a lot for bicycle pedestrian infrastructure through 101. So that's a pretty big move by the port. We'll see what happens, but they're going to take about a month to do some internal review and see what happens with their findings. But it sounded like they are in favor of moving forward with the request from the city to bank that and remove the rail.
They were out picking up the loose railroad ties that they have out for repairs. They were out picking them all up this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that Councilor Matthews did point out that at this moment, there is more parking in the Front Street area with the new parking spot.
Yes.
And the plan had called, the one plan had called for a certain number more, and then we had to go back because of what Jennifer found with the consultant, that we couldn't do some parking in an area because of the restrictions of the rail, so they had to back up on that. But as it sits, there is more parking on Front Street than ever than in recent history.
Correct.
Accurate? Yeah.
So lots of movement and lots of positive movement, and yeah, we'll just see how that goes. But those are the facts. Then be the facts.
Those are facts. Yeah. Bike spares, about to start going.
Yeah.
Any other commissioner questions or comments about the BPFFC?
I have maybe something that the BPFFC could also look into is businesses that have a place to park a bike. I'm always parking my bike to just whatever I can find, and so as we kind of move towards an easier way for cyclists to get around town, to do their shopping by bike, if businesses have a bike parking, that would be good for them.
Yes.
And sort of to promote that like a come here, go to Far's,
Mhm.
go to Safeway. We have bike parking here, whereas Fred Meyer does not. So maybe I'll go to Safeway instead of Fred Meyer. So just identifying which businesses have bike parking, which do not, and then maybe at some point kind of talking to those businesses about potentially installing some bike racks, like McKay's, for instance, downtown.
Yeah, that one's always
It's
rough.
not, yeah.
Yep.
And where do you park your bike?
I usually pull it inside, so it's just inside.
Yeah, so I park to the cart.
I've done that forever. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm bringing it inside. So, and they don't seem to say anything. But I've tied it to the benches and to the paper dispenser and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think an inventory of bicycle parking space is a good idea, good direction.
I've started a photo log of the places, at least. I've started at Coos Village and headed south, and I've got a photo log started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Because I believe the TSP covers bike parking, but only public bike parking. I think it's not in there.
I don't even remember seeing it. Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, that's a good
Yeah.
good portion.
Mhm.
Good something for us to look at when we're doing our bicycle
And especially since
pedal and fact finding.
and you have some knowledge about how to do it. You both at the downtown waterfront, you guys have great bike parking.
Mhm.
So if a business had no idea where to start, you at least could point them in the right direction.
Yep. Awesome.
And there may be a grant opportunity here too. CBDA has been looking at various different options in terms of what we can do in the downtown area, and there are some opportunities out there, I
Good.
think.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see, because businesses don't know, like having someone come out and be like, this would be a great location, this is
Right.
what you can order, this is how much it'll be, we have a grant to cover it, you just have to provide the space.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That might be on the purview of our facts finding, but if the Parks Commission would.
It's part of the finding part.
Yes. Yes. There you go.
True.
All right.
All right.
Very cool.
Any other additional commissioner questions or comments? All right, thank you. Action item 2D, park-related projects and grants update.
So city staff will provide a monthly update report to the Parks Commission to highlight progress on grants, capital improvements, and operations related to the parks. These updates are designed to keep the commission fully informed, support proactive decision-making, and outline both recent accomplishments and work anticipated in the coming months. So this is just kind of a brief overview of what's happening within the parks themselves. So at John Thomas Park, the wildfire mitigation, the Coos Bay wildfire risk reduction grant for $75,000. We received that. The project is about 2/3 complete. The project was approved to move forward by council back in December. The fire chief is going to provide staff a map once the contractor remobilizes. Once the contractor remobilizes, that is anticipated to happen in February. We did apply for another grant application with AIM through the Coalition of Collaboratives Incorporated. AIM is an acronym for Action, Implementation, and Mitigation. We were unsuccessful in that grant application, but we're going to continue looking for more grants to support that project. Moving down, the Mingus Park restroom and rewilding project. Not sure if you had an opportunity to notice, but we are vertical on the restroom. That project is moving along nicely. I haven't been over there. I was over there earlier this week, but Jamie was over there today, and they are putting grout on the interior of the building. So we anticipate another probably maybe 2.5 weeks left for this portion of the work to continue on. Probably going to be done in the next 30-35 days, barring any weather issues. But that's where we're at on the restrooms. The Mingus Park ballroom restroom. We're just waiting for the water heater to get completed. It's been delivered. We're just waiting for staff time to get in there and do that work. It's been committed to me by the city plumber that we're going to have that done by the end of next week. Again, barring any emergencies that he gets pulled off onto, that's our delivery date. So I hope to have it open by the end of the month. Is going to be my commitment date, but hopefully sooner than that. The rewilding project. So the only thing that we're waiting up on now on that project is the interpretive sign, which is nearing completion. We expect that the installation should be occurring by March. Right now, it's just being reviewed by the tribes for any accuracy or any detail. Jared, I don't know if you have any update on that.
Well, I can confirm that the recommended adjustments to the panel that the commission made has been made on the design. It looks a lot better. Like, for example, taking off the salmon and putting in like the grade. It looks phenomenal. Ron Papish, who we were talking about earlier, is again doing a fantastic job. Just as far as that I can put on my job with the tribe hat, just working on some last minute approvals and go-throughs on that. But otherwise, it's looking beautiful, and it's really encouraging to see that work and not have to like explain why it's important, which is really encouraging. So
Very cool.
yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I think Mingus Park, the southern section of Mingus Park is being altered in a very positive way over the course of the last year. I think it's going to be leaps and bounds ahead of where it was at a year ago. So I'm real proud of that. I think this commission should be very proud of that as well for providing staff that direction. The TGM grant, the Comprehensive Bike and Pedestrian Plan, the BCFPP, got that acronym correct, has been a contributor to that along with this commission. Again, we took the recommendations, we provided that to the consultant at ODOT, and they are still moving forward with the solicitation process for a consultant. ODOT anticipates the award of the contract in summer of 2026. There is a particular timeline. I think summer is when they want to award it, and then we have that 18 months after that is probably when we're looking to see anything back from them. But we're going to have a lot of meetings in between then. If you recall, we're going to have a lot of back and forth, and we're going to have a lot of conversations. So more to follow up on that. The Front Street next level design, the Front Street blueprint, the Front Street 100% design. The city staff is still working with David Evan and Associates to advance that project forward. The BPFFC has been coordinating with the local business owners, as Carmen and Jamie referred to earlier. Yes, there is a proposal to remove 14 parking spots. That did go to council at the January 6th meeting. Council did request that they gather more information, and it is proposed to go back to council on February 3rd for further conversation, and hopefully they'll make a decision at that time as to whether to move forward with that or not. Moving down to operation and maintenance, well, we're in the process of removing all the Christmas decorations from the street. We had a very successful Christmas season, I think. The Christmas trees, I thought, looked very beautiful this year. They're well
Appointed.
They were very well appointed. I thought that they were very well.
They're plum.
They were plumbed correctly.
In past years, it's not always true.
Yeah, there was not a big chunk of apple bite out of it either. But I thought they looked really well. Staff did a really good job. I don't know if you had an opportunity to see the front of City Hall this year. I thought it looked really good. But again, staff did a remarkable job with that. We did do a lot of park cleanup. We'd had several storms come through in January, and staff was very busy with that. And then just to let you folks know, inside of John Toppis Park, we've been doing a lot of unhoused camp removal and cleanups. That's been occupying a lot of our staff time as well. But we do have a lot of work ahead of us, grading roads, getting all that stuff done. We have a lot of projects happening this year. road projects, and all these things we've brought to the commission before in the past, so we're just looking to get them coming to fruition here in the next couple of months, having contracts out and getting bids on them. So again, thank you to the commission for all your guidance, and that's the report.
Great.
Those are the facts.
Them's the facts.
Thank you so much.
I have a question
Yes.
from former Commissioner Sutton. She says, wondering if they are working on an RFP for the roof structure on the cabin as grant cycle is here.
We're not working on an RFP. We are actively looking for grants for that. We're not going to go to RFP until we are able to secure funding for it. But once we've identified grants, then we will definitely move forward with that. But that is on our radar. Matter of fact, Christina and I were talking about that. I think it was just yesterday. Just yesterday again. So that's always on the top of our minds. Another thing I'd like to mention, it's not on here because we just talked about it yesterday. I didn't have it on my agenda. Is we are also looking for other grant opportunities to do other things in the parks. One of the things probably next month I'll probably be bringing towards the commission is going to be looking for grants for playground equipment. The LGDP grant, which I think we've done quite successfully with this restroom project at the ball field and at the park side. I think we've shown great performance on that grant, and I'd like to reapply for that grant. It's a 2-year cycle grant. I'd like to apply for that grant. I'll present this to the commission next month probably. Well, not probably, it will be. Is going to be, hey, let's look at playground equipment, ADA accessible playground equipment, those type of things. And I'd like to look at those seriously. So that's one, the recommendation is going to be from staff.
Okay.
So put the hats on. That's going to be a recommendation from staff, but just think about it and get ready for that. We're really interested in continuing this work of making our parks much more user-friendly and making them much more accessible to our constituents, because that's the only reason we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
Good.
sure. Thank you.
I had a question too. With the rail possibly coming out, I know there was a plan to do something with the fencing along the boardwalk between the rail and the paved boardwalk. I think you were removing the chains. So I was just wondering if it would make sense to pause that. If the rail's coming out, maybe that space will merge, and there doesn't necessarily need to be a barrier there. And so it could be money that could go into another potential project, like a playground equipment or something.
Well, we can't use that money in the playground equipment because it's the URA dollars are funding that. There still is an elevation difference between the paved trail and where the rail is at. And then the third factor to that is we don't know when that rail is going to, if it comes out, when it comes out, we don't know when that's going to be. So I would like to move forward with that project. We have funding for that project. We have design for that project. But if the commission would like to make a recommendation, we've already got money allocated for that through council, approved that project, already moved forward. That would be something that we would seriously have to look at. That needs to be updated. Like I said, we do have an elevation difference there that, still has to be protected to keep folks from. And another reason that handrail is going up is it prevents people from hopping the rail, on the southern section. So to get to vessels, they hop that rail, walk across the railroad tracks, climb up the hill, hop over the chain link or the chain thing that's there, the plastic chain, and then make their way to the south docks. This is an effort to usher folks to the proper pedestrian access onto the boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, given that we don't know what actual condition the ground is going to be in once they do the removal, in past projects that I've worked on, they just remove it, and it's kind of tumultuous terrain for an extended period of time. I like the direction that you're going, but I'm also concerned that because we don't know what that gap's going to look like, and it will probably be 3 years before we have funding to do something to do that. I think there's some concern about what we would do in the interim.
I always kind of forget how much goes into those kinds of projects with the funding and the planning and the meetings. So
it's there's a lot that goes into it, but I mean, your thought process is right on. I mean, if you think about it, let's not spend the money over here if we can spend it over here. Unfortunately, our Mingus Park per se is outside of the Urban Renewal Agency. John Toppin's Park is again outside of the Urban Renewal Agency. I would love for them to be in it. It would just free up some extra dollars that perhaps the Urban Renewal Agency would want to provide funding for, but they are outside of those. And so when we have that bucket of dollars that we can allocate for that use, we can't mix the two buckets. Unfortunately, sometimes that's even with my staff, I have to explain that we can't use this bucket of money for that purpose. We have to separate the two. But I like the thought process. I think it's a good thought process. I appreciate that. But I think that with that handrail, we're looking for consistency. We're looking for safety. We're looking for, again, I don't know when anything's going to happen with the port rail, and we're looking for just some kind of continuity and development along that boardwalk and beautification.
Any other commissioner questions or comments? We can start that. I was going to go on the updates, but okay, all right. Number 3, public comment. I see none. Okay, more public. Okay.
We're backwards.
One's an update. So when we started applying for cemetery grants, that was before Greg and BC, before Christina. But now I do try to update Christina if anything's going on, and I did this time, and she didn't give the report this time. So we're actually applying for what they call first-time grants, or small grants from the Roundhouse Foundation. So it wouldn't really, they look at us as a separate entity. And it's kind of to make sure we have adequate in-cash match for the CLG grant that will be in progress. And also we've identified things that weren't in the original assessment and they're going to need work. So we'll have a little cushion to carry on. And this, I think my grant writer, Becky, thinks this was the appropriate time to do it while we still are in the midst of that and really solid things that we can ask for in the grant. So that was my update. My comment is 2 things on the, now let's see, the BPFFC. One of them is, I think addressing bicycle parking things is a great idea. I know I was really, as I look at Jared, I was really frustrated that at the Coquel Casino, there is no parking. And their comment is they didn't, because you miss all those people that are riding the coast, and a lot of them have some money and might like to stay there. And their comment was, but we don't want unhoused people to park their bikes there. Well, it seems you could find a compromise. You could have a little parking space around the back, but that seems like a really serious thing. They actually have signs posted that says no bicycle parking. So to me, maybe that little bit of money doesn't affect them, but I think it affects our community. So that's one. The second one, with the potential of the rails coming out, I don't know if anyone's taken the time to work with the Oregon Coast Railway, get the right name there. 2 of their biggest events of the year is having the speeders into town, and the speeders bring a lot of money from generally the Eugene area, and at Christmas time they bring a lot of gifts. So if there's no track, they won't probably come here anymore unless you can come up with some alternative things so that they at least stop on the other side of the bridge, and then we make an effort to, portage them over to where they want to be, into the Railroad Museum. So I think that would really be a good thing for someone from the commission to reach out and not blindside them with this potential going on. That's it.
What Cricket mentioned about the speeders, if you're not sure what what that's about, you should go on OPB and look at the latest Oregon Field Guide. And it's, of course, since last August, since the bridge has been closed, they won't be able to get down here. So
Yeah, what they did this year for bringing gifts is they did truck them the last part of the way, which was a bummer. But that might be something where we can visit doing something out at the Spit instead to celebrate them coming to town. But they are quite a bit of fun. So, thank you. We're going to move on to staff and commissioner closing comments. We'll start with our newest member. So thank you so much for joining us, Rex. Do you have any commissioner closing comments?
No, I really don't have any comments other than this is very interesting. I'm glad to see so many people here. I wish we had this attendance at the planning commission. That's all.
Thank you.
Great job with the Christmas tree. I can see it from my house. And during some of those storms when everything was flying all over the place, the Christmas trees just stood. So, great job.
Thank you.
I want to say welcome, Rex. Good to have you. It's nice to meet you as well. And then I've been laughing at myself because I'm very excited. I drive past Mingus on my commute every day, and I've never been excited until my list to be watch a bathroom be built.
Yeah.
Or a restroom, excuse me. But it's really exciting to see that construction being done. So please extend my kudos to the team, and yeah, especially in these chilly mornings. So I'm excited to keep watching it.
Harv?
I really don't have much. As an organization, we're just about ready to bring on 3 new board members, so we're in the process, I guess the best word is transition. We have 9, and every year we bring on 3 more. Be more than happy to see 1 or 2 people from this particular body, if they're interested, join. And we do have our annual meeting coming up on the 29th, which means we'll have to find a successor for our business person of the year last year. We'll have to find a successor for Carmen and Company.
Oh, was that us? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
That's all.
Yeah.
You, Carmen?
Really excited to see what's happening in Mingus, and I like the idea of continuing that momentum as best we can. The playground equipment is definitely in need of some updating and some focus in that area, in my opinion. And I think that if we do get a grant for that, I'd really love it if we address the drainage concerns for the playground area. It's just a muddy pit for most of the year, just like it was when it was in the rewilded area. I mean, it's not as bad, but it's still pretty muddy, and it still gets use. I'm kind of amazed how much use it still gets, even though it's pretty saturated. So, looking at that and getting an update on that would be awesome. And I'm still looking for that coffee shop at City Christmas decoration storage facility. Those are my comments.
So, if you don't mind, we talked about that drainage in there. So, along with my Pooh-Bah plan, with the playground equipment grant, one of those elements would be engineered fill, or engineered fall protection, I'm sorry. And that would all probably be redone, and then at that point, we would have that opportunity to improve the drainage. However, I will say this, Carmen, is that we do have plans to address that this summer.
Great.
Who knows if we'll be successful with the grant application, but we do have plans to address the drainage this summer. We procured all the materials already, so we have them. It's just a matter of dedicating staff time to get that done, but we have that scheduled to be done this summer.
The materials for the drainage or for the fall protection?
The drainage. Yeah.
Okay.
The fall protection, the engineered fall protection, if we are successful with the grant, I mean, we have engineered fall protection there now, but if we are successful in the grant application, that would be one of the asks in there, because with when you install new playground equipment, you've got to provide ADA accessibility. You've got to provide a certain number of apparatuses that are ADA compliant. You also got to provide engineered fall protection for that. And so in order to put in new playground equipment, all that would have to come out, and we'd have to put all new back in. And so then at that point, we'd have an opportunity to address the drainage in a more robust, more thoughtful manner. And so that would probably all be in the plans. But you can't cross that bridge until we know whether we're successful with the grant.
Gotcha.
But we do have plans to address the drainage currently in its current situation in the playground equipment in its current situation this coming summer.
So that's wonderful to hear. Is that drainage equipment like a French drain that goes underneath the pathway, or what is that?
Yeah, so, we can, there's a couple of catch basins on this side of the path that we'd probably like to tie into, but there's also probably going to be a point where we do have to either saw cut and go, trench down into the pond or burrow underneath. We haven't quite figured that out where they're going to have to go yet. We got to get shots, we got to get topography.
Yeah.
But we have all the material to do that with.
Oh, great.
But our plan is to tie everything into that catch basin is ideal.
Yeah.
So we don't have to disturb the trails or the paths, but
Yeah.
if we have to, we have to.
Well, if we were, I guess where I'm going with this is if we're going to mobilize equipment to maybe bore underneath the trail or to cut channels in the trail to lay pipe for drainage, I would love to see a few other spots around the trail just get addressed, because there's puddling that happens on the outside areas of the trail currently that goes across it and creates just lots of mud slicks and stuff. It would be nice if that was seasonally drained, I guess. It feels like it would be a good thing to do if we could just wrap it all into one big project of
Sure.
drainage attention. But, I don't know what that looks like, so
Yeah.
just an opinion.
No, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Jamie, closing comments?
Nothing other than to say I really enjoy serving on this commission with all the competent and caring people that are involved. So that's it.
I saw you looking at me.
Greg, any closing comments?
I don't have any. Thank you very much. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Happy New Year. I really do appreciate you guys coming back. January, coming back, and the commitment that you guys have made. I really do appreciate it. Look forward to 26, and we should have a great year.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Christine? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I just want to appreciate everybody who coming in here. Rex, welcome. Looking forward to 2026. We got a lot accomplished in 25, and we got big goals for 26. So I appreciate everybody and their time, energy, and effort, and I hope everybody has a wonderful week.